my family. Now go. Kong ain't got nothing on me.
Oh, hold up. I don't get paid enough for this.
Don't stop running.
Get him off that rope! You there! Turn yourself around!
Do we have a problem? Your boy James Crow about to have 99 of them.
Keep moving!
Walk free.
Did you see that?
He ain't after us.
No.
You have caused nothing but pain and suffering for the people native to this land, for those you brought here against their will. You don't deserve to stand!
Let them come. The ancestors are ready.
I'm back with another video before work. Y'all need to stop with the, you can't tell me who I am. I'm not African, you can't tell me who I am. I'm not telling you who you are. Science is telling you who you are. History is telling you who you are. Genealogy is telling you who you are. DNA is telling you who you are. And guess what, my Black Americans? Guess what, my Black people? It's telling you that your ancestors are African. All right? That's what it's telling you. It's telling you that you are of the people that stayed in Africa, that you have the most genetic diversity, that you are the most connected to Africa and our African ancestors. That's what it is telling you. It's not telling you that you Choctaw. It's not telling you that you Cherokee. It's not telling you that you the Olmecs. It's not telling you that you the Aztecs. It's not telling you that you any of that. It's not telling you that you Atlantean or whatever the hell y'all be calling yourself. It's not telling you that. It's telling you that you are African. All right? And just because you were born in America does not mean you get to cut off your ancestors in Africa. And just because the prehistoric origins of humans is in Africa doesn't mean that migration didn't happen, doesn't mean that evolution didn't happen, and doesn't mean that you came again from the people that stayed. So no, everybody is not African because of the migration and evolution, etc., etc., etc. Everybody ain't African. But you, my Black Americans, you, my Black people, period, y'all are African. Your grandma can't trump that. She can't erase your African history. So you can try to manipulate y'all grandmas like y'all do. You can try to lead your grandmas to saying some stuff that they really didn't mean like y'all do? I know the conversations y'all be having. Grandma, look at this. Grandma. And I also know that majority of your grandmas didn't say, we're not African. They told you they was mixed with Native American, and even they were wrong in that. They were mistaken in that. All right? So, let's stop this cap. You're African. Come on back home. And no, you don't have to go to Africa to be African, bitch.
Black folks, why do I teach erased history? Well, it's because I want us to understand that the version that they gave y'all in school was just a version of fairy tales, and it was not the truth. See, they left out so many things in that part of history that they feel nowadays that slavery is not that important and we ain't do reparations. But if y'all know the backstory, it was much more grotesque than any movie they could ever produce. See, y'all don't know about the saltwater drownings. Y'all don't know about the Devil's Punch Bowl in Mississippi where, to this very day, bones still wash up on the shore. Y'all don't know about old Claude Neal in 1934 when a mob of white men surrounded the brother, lynched him, made him eat his own genitals, skinned him, dismembered him. And a lot of people that was in that crowd kept his body parts as souvenirs. So y'all don't know about that. Y'all don't know about eye gouging. Y'all don't know about the ritual of when you talk too much, and old Master Fat didn't want you to talk that much. He would bust your teeth out your mouth, funnel in your mouth, vomit feces and urine as a punishment. Oh yeah, y'all don't know about that. Y'all don't know about whistling. You wasn't supposed to stop whistling when you was cooking in old Master's house because you might be talking about him or you might be planning an escape. So a lot of times, slaves, they would have to whistle while they was cooking. See, I can only tell so much on this app because I get flagged or either my pages get banned because they don't want y'all to know this. See, they keep our history erased and buried because they want to make it look like slavery wasn't that bad and we're not due no reparations. Just like they paid the Jews, the Japanese, and the Native Americans, we are due reparations because now one of those three groups of people or cultures or races that I named, none of them have suffered the way we have suffered. We were robbed of our names, our religion, our very languages. And it was some of us actually here in the United States, y'all, even before Columbus. And we were doing our thing, y'all. We were very wealthy. White people had to come to us. But what we always mess up at, through time and even in modern day, is we trust white folks. And I'm not saying that you have to be mean to them, but I'm always saying to keep your eye on them. Watch them. Don't invite them to your house. Quit saying that shit, invite them to the cookout. History tends to repeat itself, and that's how come we continue to miss our mark. So that's why I teach unknown black facts. And if it's anything I want my followers to do, I want y'all to pick up this book, Without Sanctuary. And yeah, the book is going to run about $500 or $600. Ask yourself why, but get you a copy. And I want you to pick up The Delectable Negro because see, black skin and black bodies, it was a delicacy. They love eating us up, literally eating us up. See, white folks don't want you to know about that. They don't want y'all to know how they were so mad at Nat Turner, how they completely dismembered him, boiled him down and turned him into oil, and they used this oil to cook in. To this very day, is some white family right now talking about the ear of Nat Turner that they had and how their ancestors gave it to the family and how they passed it down year after year. We got to become sharper than this, y'all. We can't keep getting lost in the sauce. So my page is going to be about reparations and old history facts that you don't know nothing about, but you need to. So that way you'll have the tools needed when somebody come up to you and say reparations is not needed or it's not, black folks don't deserve it. Oh, yes, we do. Because, see, what they used on the Jews, They said epigenetics transferred through them cell after cell after all the trauma that they endured. With black folks, we have epigenetics too. Don't just think that we're out here being violent or doing all this other stuff just because it's in us. Think about where all that violence came from. White folks. And it was cell by cell by cell, century by century by century, transferred to us. It's always white folks. So keep that in mind. I hope you enjoy my page. And I'm Dr. O, y'all. And I'm out.
Honor and respect, honor and respect, honor and respect. Divine all blessed greetings and salutations. It is another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. Voodoo Hoodoo 101. Powered, produced, promoted, sponsored, and supported by NOIVD, New Orleans International Voodoo Day. Inspired by National Voodoo Day in Benin, annually every January 10th, and led by our local Black community members, New Orleans International Voodoo Day is a day of collective remembrance and spiritual reparation that is preceded by a symposium, an Afroecology exhibit, and includes a procession to the monuments at sites of slavery in New Orleans. Ritual to account for and seek absolution for the city's and the country's participation in the institution of slavery, homage to those ancestors who suffered through and survived the transatlantic slave trade, and honor and appreciation for the achievements of those who came out of the oppression. 2 days, May 23rd and 24th, Saturday and Sunday, May 23rd and 24th, 2026, 2 days for education, creative expression, elevation, cultural exchange, and above all, healing. Through authentic Vodou traditions handed down through generations, we offer a path to healing from the ongoing ramifications of slavery and racism in the United States. And we continue to thank you for your continued support, participation, volunteership, donations, and sponsorships by visiting us at www.voodooday.org, www.vodouday.org. And we're eternally grateful for your continued support and participation in this 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday podcast on a social media platform near you, or by way of the QR code located in the top right corner of your screen. I don't know what's going on with the online comments tonight. The whole app is not there. But I'm certainly thankful for your continued support and participation. Daniel Neal, a faithful member, committed member of our community. Our beloved Nina Lloyd, we certainly do continue to thank you for your continued support and participation. And Love 1901, greetings and salutations to you and yours. I will be unmuting our beloved Sister Bianca Johnson-Plessy momentarily, a committed member of La Source and Shein on 4, as well as a committed team member, co-administrator for NOIVD. Our beloved Sister Toni Val Martinez, community activist, community mother, community educator. We certainly appreciate your continued support and participation. My first priest, my armor bearer, wild man, Black Hawk Voodoo, Brother Joshua Nylan Tanner, thank you so much for being present. Second priest, our executive producer of Respect to Voodoo, a committed member of NOIVD administrative team, as well as initiated members of the Source Anshin on 4, Brother Tyson and Brother Joshua. And we certainly appreciate Elder Reggie, Green Soap, leader and founder of Shrine of the White Cloth, committed co-administrator of NOIVD. And we certainly will be unmuting you all momentarily as we get into tonight's topic and subject matter. I like to title it Respect and Ritual. Applying the proper respect and ritual protocols in ATR or African Aboriginal traditional religious systems, including Voodoo, Voodoo, Hoodoo, root work, and conjure. When we speak of African traditional religions, whether Voodoo of West Africa, Haitian Vodou, New Orleans Voodoo, Louisiana Voodoo, Hoodoo, root work, or conjure, we are not speaking of a single path, a single doctrine, or a single way of doing things. We are speaking of a family of living traditions, each with its own languages, its own spirits, its own histories, its own protocols. And yet, across all these traditions, there is a shared heartbeat: respect. Respect for the spirits, respect for the ancestors, respect for the land, respect for the communities who have carried these traditions through centuries of struggle, survival, and brilliance. Today, I want to speak about that respect, not as an abstract idea, but as a lived practice, a practice that shapes how we approach ritual, how we handle offerings, how we speak the names of spirits, and how we carry ourselves when we step into sacred space. And when I speak about this in the context of historic moment, the signing of a agreement and an arrangement with the officials in Benin on January 10th during Voodoo Days in Benin, a moment that aligned with New Orleans International Vodou Day, a moment that symbolized not only cultural diplomacy, but the rethreading of a global family that has always been connected, even when oceans and histories try to separate us. So let us move forward. In ATR traditions, respect is not something you sprinkle on top of a ritual. It is the ritual. Before you light a candle, before you pour a libation, before you call a name, you must first orient yourself in humility. You must acknowledge that you are stepping into a lineage older than your grandparents, great grandparents, great great grandparents, and the like. You are stepping into a current that has been flowing since before the Middle Passage, before the kingdoms of Dahomey and Oyo rose and fell, before the first drum was carved from the first tree. Respect begins with knowing that you are not the center of the tradition. The spirits are, the ancestors are, the community is, and your role is to serve, to listen, and to learn. In Vodou, this respect is shown through greeting the elders and the spirits properly. In Haitian Voodoo, it is shown through saluting the peristyle, the potomitan, and the loa in their proper order. In New Orleans and Louisiana Voodoo, it is shown through honoring the land, the river, the crossroads, and the ancestral dead who built the city's spiritual backbone. In Hoodoo, root work, and conjure, it is shown through acknowledging the ancestors who carried these practices in whispers, in gardens, in kitchens, and in the quiet corners of a world that tried to silence them. Respect is the first offering. Everything else follows. Every ATR tradition has its own protocols, and these protocols are not arbitrary. They are the architecture of relationship. They are the way we show the spirits that we know who we are speaking to and that we know how to speak to them. In Voodoo, you do not approach a deity without first acknowledging the gatekeeper. In Haitian Vodou, you do not call a spirit without first saluting Papa Legba. In New Orleans Voodoo, you do not work at the river without acknowledging the river's spirits. In Hoodoo and root work, you do not gather herbs without speaking to the plant, without asking permission, without leaving something in return. Protocol is not superstition. Protocol is respect made visible. And when we ignore protocol, we are not just being careless. Forgive me, y'all. Give me a moment. We are being disrespectful when we ignore protocol. We are not acting as though the spirits are vending machines, as though the ancestors are employees, as though the land is a resource rather than a living being. Protocol protects us from arrogance. It protects us from spiritual harm, and it protects the integrity of the tradition. Offerings are one of the most misunderstood aspects of ATR traditions. People often think of offerings as bribes or payments or magical shortcuts, but offerings are none of these. Offerings are a language. They are a way of saying thank you. I honor you. I recognize your presence. I am in relationship with you. Different spirits have different preferences, and different traditions have different rules. But across all ATR paths, offerings must be given with intention, clarity, and with respect. And not just as important as the offering itself is what happens after the offering, the proper disposal of ritual offerings. This is an area where many people, especially newcomers, struggle. They ask, what do I do with the offerings when the ritual is done? And the answer depends on the tradition, the spirit, and the purpose of the work. But there are some shape principles that run across ATR practices. All offerings must be disposed of respectfully. You do not throw offerings in the trash unless the tradition specifically calls for it. Trash is for waste, not for sacred exchange. Offerings return to the elements. Many offerings are returned to the earth, the river, the crossroads, or the fire, but this must be done with ecological respect. You do not pollute the land or the water. You do not leave glass, plastic, or toxic materials, and you return what is natural to what is natural. Offerings must be placed, not abandoned. There is a difference between placing an offering at the tree in Congo Square and littering. When you place an offering, you do so with intention, with prayer, and with acknowledgement. You do not simply drop it and walk away. Some offerings must be taken away entirely. In certain forms of hoodoo, root work, and conjure, offerings or ritual remains are disposed of at the crossroads, a graveyard, or running water to release the work. But even then, the disposal is done with respect, with words, and with protocol. And know your lineage rules. These traditions are birthed from our ethnocultural practices and traditions which are locked in our ancestral lineage. Some houses burn offerings, some bury them, some return them to the sea, some keep them on the altar until they are spiritually cool. There is no universal rule, only universal respect. The land, of course, is our witness and a partner in our practice. In ATR traditions, the land is not a backdrop. The land is a participant. The land is a witness. The land is a spirit in its own right. So when we dispose of offerings, we are not just getting rid of something. We are engaging in a conversation with the land. And we are saying, I return this to you with gratitude. We are saying, I honor your role in this work. We are saying, I recognize that you are alive. And this is why the careless disposal of offerings is not just disrespectful, it is spiritually dangerous. It disrupts the relationship between the practitioner and the land. And in ATR practices, this relationship is everything. Now, let us quickly speak to a historic moment, January 10th in Benin. This moment that unfolded on January 10th during Vodou days in Benin, a moment that aligned with New Orleans International Vodou Day. On that day, a historic agreement and arrangement was signed with officials in Benin, symbolizing a bridge between continents, between lineages, between past and future. This is not merely a diplomatic gesture. It is a spiritual homecoming. It was a recognition that the descendants of those taken across the Atlantic are still connected to the spiritual roots of West Africa. It was an affirmation that Vodou, Voodoo, Hoodoo, rootwork, and conjure are not isolated traditions. They are branches of a single ancestral tree. And the signing of that agreement was a reminder that respect and protocol are not only ritual practices, they are cultural practices. They are diplomatic practices. They are the foundation of how we build relationships across oceans, across histories, across time and generations. And so, as practitioners, leaders, students carrying the tradition forward in ATR, our responsibility is not only to perform rituals correctly, it is to carry these traditions with dignity, to teach without exploiting, to share without appropriating, to practice without disrespecting the lineages that made our practice possible. Respect is not a rule, respect is a way of life. Protocol is not a restriction, protocol is a pathway. Offerings are not transactions, offerings are conversations. And the traditions we carry are not relics. They are living, breathing, evolving systems of wisdom that have survived because our ancestors protected them with their very lives. So, as I close, as we move forward, walking with honor, especially in the wake of the historic alignment between Benin and New Orleans, we must remember that ATR traditions are not simply practiced, they are lived, they are embodied, they are carried in how we speak, how we walk, how we honor the spirits, how we honor each other. To practice ATR is to walk with honor. To practice ATR is to remember that every ritual is a dialogue. To practice Aboriginal African traditional religious systems is to know that the spirits are watching, not with judgment, but with expectation. Expectation that we will uphold the dignity of the traditions, expectations that we would treat the land with care, expectations that we will dispose of offerings with respect, expectations that we will carry the legacy forward. And as my beloved co-hosts and panelists begin to unmute, and so as we stand in this moment of global recognition between Benin and New Orleans, between Africa and the diaspora, between the past and the future, let us recommit ourselves to the heart of the tradition. Divine all blessed respect, divine all blessed protocol, divine all blessed reciprocity, and the unbroken lineage of spirit that binds us all. AYIBOBO, be Ibobolo, Ashe, all is truly and indeed a blessing. Please do begin to come in, my beloved co-host. How you doing?
Hello,
Good evening.
everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Can you hear me?
In the listening audience. When you was
Good evening,
mentioning
everyone.
about rituals, it's one ritual that stands out in my mind that my mom did every time. We hunted every year, one deer a year. And every time they killed the deer, she said a prayer. Sometimes the deer wouldn't even be all the way dead. We went to the body. She said a prayer. She asked it to forgive her, brother deer. And she took the knife and cut his throat a little bit and drained some blood and drank it out of this tin cup and made me drink it. And my daddy drank it. And she told me that was so that the deer could live on in me. So I guess that's where they get that from. You are what you eat. So we never got nothing bigger than a deer, like a bear or anything. But I noticed she didn't do that with the chickens that we killed. And I never got an answer on that one. But that ritual right there stood out in my mind. And every time I think about it, it seemed like I could taste that blood, the salt. What about you, Elder Reggie?
Lesson, everyone. Divine Prince, excellent dialogue, the way you brought it in. Sister Toni, thanks for asking the question and for the collective chat. I've been immersed in rituals, sacrifice, the whole 9 yards for over the last 20 years. And I can't really pull out one thing in particular because I wouldn't be doing justice to some of the other stuff that I've been exposed to. But what I would like to do if I could, just to add a little bit for the awesome words that Divine Prince put out with offerings. And I like to offer this to those who are listening and who are partake in some of the practitioners of ATR. From the Yoruba system, offerings are called Adamu, presented to honor the Orishas in the Yoruba spiritualities. These offerings can include a variety of foods. The preparation of Adamu is ritualistic process that involves deep meditation. Please, when you're going to make an offering, think about what you're doing, set the intentions, give the time to meditation and respect, as Divine so eloquently speak of when he says respect for the Orishas, and showing that the offerings are received with dignity and intention. Please, if as you go to discard the offering, maybe 2-3 days, whatever is required for, use the intentions, give grace, give gratitude for the energies that receive the offerings on your behalf for the exchange of the work that you needed done. And that's what I like to add.
Mm-hmm. Brother Tyson, you have anything to add?
Yes, it's about. Can you hear me okay? Just checking in, make sure the microphone's going in all right. Good topic, Divine Prince, and good evening to everybody. One thing that just resonated with me as you were speaking, Divine Prince, is, you mentioned the word respect. We have a tagline, respect the voodoo. I kept thinking about that word, and the one thing that I feel like, our community, we're talking a spiritual community, African traditional religion community, is just emphasizing the need for respect among the youth and among the people. Whereas when we grew up, we were taught to respect your elders, respect those older than you. You say good morning, you walk down the street, you say hello. If you didn't say hello, you was going to hear about it. Even to the little things, like if I've seen nowadays a lot of times when there might be some type of service or something taking place inside a cathedral or church or something like that. It could just be a regular program going on, but people don't even take their hats off no more when they walk into certain buildings that should deem some type of reverence. And I think that respect, if that respect is not promoted amongst, the youth, and as traditionally as we brought up with it, it makes it harder for people to have that respect for their ancestors and for the spirit world, because if you can't respect somebody who you see every day, then you're definitely not going to respect somebody who can't see or touch or feel sometimes. And I say sometimes, but that's just, I think that respect, and that overall ownership of respect will lend itself into the offerings and how to properly leave offerings and pour libations and things like that. But that respect is such a strong word and a strong sentiment that I think that needs to be paid attention to more. And I've always seen, Divine Prince has always had respect to voodoo. But at the same time, if you think about what that's being said is respect spirit, spirit. And that's my little 2 cents on the matter.
That was a good 2 cent well spent.
Yeah, I
And
know,
yes,
like what you were saying about respecting voodoo and our ancestors and all that stuff. There was a lot of things that I have learned early on, and I'm still learning for today too. I remember like at first when I started getting into um creating altars and building that relationship and stuff with the ancestors. Before I used to would just put food, like whatever food that they like or something that they drink, I would just put it on the altar. And I was like, I felt like, okay, I put these things that you guys like on the altar, but I never really got a chance to like set down with them and ate and drink those things with them. So at first I had a misconception of I thought you were just supposed to just put everything on there that they like and you pray, you meditate, and then just kind of keep up with it. But then someone had explained to me that um sometimes when you work with different spiritual people or ancestors and stuff, sometimes they like to see, like, before you give them something, they like to see you eat it first or drink it, or like kind of sit with them and spend that time with them to eat those dishes or drink with them and not just give it to them and walk off. So there was some things that I had to learn. And now, like, when if I make their favorite dish or we have coffee, I actually, would take the time to sit with them, drink together, like spending that bonding time with them.
and we have that
Yeah,
tradition of having picnics on the grave sites of
yeah,
our ancestors.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, we do have that tradition here in New Orleans. And like getting to the respect, a lot of respect has gone, like was said, from the living, let known having respect for the ancestors that are no longer here. And that respect that we had here, that we grew up with, I don't think it was all around everywhere, every state and every community like that, because I went and stayed other places. And if you pass them and tell them good morning or good evening, they look at you
So,
like you come from Mars.
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And the children used to respect their parents by saying yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. And their grandparents, they don't even do that anymore. And I think with this influx of people into the city and these influx of Katrina babies coming back to the city, being raised in other places that did not have that respect for the living, it's going to be hard, and it's changing the city a lot. It's changing the city a lot.
Yeah, I believe respect begins with the ground you stand on, especially with the things that we're talking about with religion and spirituality and connecting with the ancestors and connecting with the ancestors that were here and that survived and fought for their lives and gave up their lives for our survival. And I think that even with the I think of the maroon a lot of the maroon camps and a lot of the enslaved Africans that ended up coming out into the maroon camps, I'm sure they came to those people and came to those camps respectfully, asking for help, asking for guidance, asking for information, asking for know-how and survival tactics to be able to live and survive and actually come back and combat the things that they was dealing with within their living situations and their habitats that they was fleeing from. So respect is your respect and your intention kind of works hand in hand in terms of our spiritual approach to the things that we do. And I think that a lot of people seem to be clear, and some people seem to be unclear about where that lies with them within our communities. I must say that some of us claim to be from Africa. Some of us claim to be from America. I come from a heritage of people that are from here, from America, and also I do have lineage of African, but most of my family comes from here in America. So now, understanding that, I do approach spiritual things in that way. Um, and I've been to many different ceremonies within the ATR and outside the ATR, within American Indian tradition with the Lakota, and they've gifted me with a lot of gifts and a lot of things out of respect and out of the respect I've shown and the respect I've given and the respect that I approached them with and how I handled myself. Um, and I think that goes a long way to be able to understand who you are. But it starts with understanding who you are and being able to dig into your uh, respectively speak with your elders, grandparents, and listen to them, which gives them the ability to share the information with you if you're coming to them respectfully. Um, but I think that works hand in hand in everything that you do. Um, and it really gives you the ability to be able to gain information of know-how and what to do and how to approach things.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
Well,
that's right.
we've come to the end of our show, and I'm gonna turn it over to the Divine Prince to acknowledge all our listeners on other platforms, and then Elder Reggie will give us the announcements and words of wisdom. Divine Prince.
Thank you kindly, Sister Toni. And as always, we're very grateful for your listenership and participation across all social media platforms where we can be viewed and listened to. Certainly, my Facebook profile, pages, and groups, Sister Toni's profile and groups, Elder Reggie and Sharonda White Cloth, as well as Brother Joshua and any other links that can be found in Facebook. We thankful for our LinkedIn connections and audience, primarily our international listenership. Often is listening and participating from LinkedIn as well as YouTube. We have a global presence in YouTube, Twitter X. We're grateful for your listenership and support. And we're always thankful for our Instagram listenership and participants. Zuki Baby, thank you so much for coming through. My jewel for you. We certainly do appreciate you. Nukishia, thank you so much for coming in. Lucky 19, greetings and salutations to you and yours. Apostle Hudson 1, we always are appreciative of your support and participation. Dixon Hernandez 18, greetings and salutations to you and yours. Articia, please forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. Articia Forlore, we certainly appreciate you. Greetings and salutations. Kylan Turner, greetings to you and yours. Seven Deep Waters, thank you for coming through. Drea Day, we certainly appreciate you. And Sade Smith 24, greetings and salutations. And we certainly invite you to come again on tomorrow night and on every weeknight at 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time on a platform near you or by way of the QR code located in the top right corner of your screen. Again, we certainly appreciate your continued support and participation. I thank you kindly, and I now pass the mic to Elder Reggie.
Thank you, Divine Prince. Appreciate everyone in the collective audience and our esteemed panel. I'd like to read the advertisements. We have a large selection and variety of Santa Muerte statuaries available at the Island of Salvation Botanica, That location is 2372 St. Claude Avenue in New Orleans, Louisiana. Our new moon ritual prayer and application ceremony will occur in the new moon Sunday coming, January the 18th at 6:30 p.m. in the Zodiac of Capricorn. That location is 710 Cluid Street. We call it the Cluid Gardens. It's going to be a ritual spiritual warfare gathering for all the madness that's going on in the world at this time. Hey, y'all, it's carnival time in New Orleans. February the 16th is Fat Tuesday, also known as Mardi Gras. Yay. I close out with Lest We Forget. I want to reiterate what Divine Prince brought forward of the historical day, January 10th, 2026, in Ouida, Benin, West Africa. A contingent of New Orleans International Voodoo Organization members was in Benin, and they met with a delegate from Benin to sign paperwork to form a sisterhood, a bond, and a contract that touches Benin Voodoo, Haitian Voodoo, and New Orleans Voodoo, three giant pillars of Voodoo. And all this work is on behalf of our people and those who embrace Voodoo. Lest we forget, the spiritual medicine of Voodoo brings healing and relief from the shackles of slavery that binds the master and the slave to the same chain of social division. We continue to have work to do, and we are doing it brick by brick. With that, I say, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Good night, everyone. We love you all, and we'll be back tomorrow night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Odabo.
Good night.
Baby daddy doing bad, bitch. He doing bad, your baby daddy doing bad, bitch. He doing bad, your baby daddy doing bad, bitch. He doing bad, your baby daddy doing bad, bitch. He doing bad. Look at her, she acting bad, huh? She acting bad. Look at her, she acting bad, huh? She acting bad. Look at her, she acting bad, huh? She acting bad. Look at her, she acting bad, huh? She acting bad. I say fuck that nigga, pussy ass nigga. Fuck that nigga, pussy ass nigga. Fuck that nigga, pussy ass nigga. Fuck that nigga, pussy ass nigga.
Let me start by saying you can never make me hate Mayor Cantrell, but the Advocate, the Times-Picayune, let Stephanie Grace run this story today, saying that the mayor had an attitude, that she's finishing her term as mayor the way that she ran it, with an attitude. Well, if the best you could do was get a scandal on me about a boyfriend, I guess I'd have a fucking attitude with you too, Stephanie. And the truth is, was she perfect? No. But was she as bad as y'all tried to make her? No. Let me share with y'all my favorite memory with Mayor LaToya Cantrell. Now, this is me and Mayor Cantrell in 2021 on the street talking to voters. I want you to watch this.
I don't like is like texting me. I just need Connie.
Yeah, Connie. You know what I got right here? I got Connie and I'm talking about you, Dad. What I love about Mayor Cantrell. I was so proud of her.
And they can never make me hate her, because the same way many of you found out about me because of the school board meeting where I was getting on Connie for shopping, I think that's also how Mayor Cantrell found out about me, a person who was always with her finger on the pulse of what's going on in her state and in her city. And I want you to pay attention to the expectations that the media has of black leadership, that we should bow down and answer to whatever they got to say to us in whatever way they say it to us. But I don't see them talking that shit to Jeff. I don't see them talking that shit to Jeff. In an era where people are being pardoned for real crimes, I'm not trying to hear y'all conversation about this black woman. And if you trying to have a conversation about this black woman, but not about them other folks, you full of shit. And you should know that. And to be clear, no one person is to blame for all the problems in the city of New Orleans. I had the budget, the flooding, the crime, the issues, whatever your issue is, infrastructure, no one person is to blame for all the issues, because governance is a group project. In every community, it's a group project. It takes the council, it takes the mayor, it takes the people, it takes the state, it takes the feds. It's a group project. Pay attention to this media and this social media, the words that they choose when they talk about black people and the words that they choose when they talk about other people. Heard an elder say, Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words create your reality. Now, you share your favorite memories of Mayor Cantrell in the comments from the last 8 years, because at least for the next 4, in New Orleans, there'll be a black mayor, no more. As always, do good, seek justice, keep pushing.
Yeah, bitch, flex on my ex, in my Model X, flex on my ex, in my Model X, flex on my, flex on my, flex on my, back up on my bullshit, I'm back up on the scene.
Please, allow me to show you something.
They say I'm crazy and that might be true. I got this right in my DNA, yeah, I'm coming for you. It's time we turn the table, strip these motherfuckers on you. I wanna see you hanging from trees, it's time you pay for your dirt and your showtime. You created the monster, you created the beast. Now all this savagery you just gon' reap. I'm coming home, daddy, to the plantation, and I'm taking the lives of everybody, including the children, on some Nat Turner. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. I met my girl Harriet at the gate. If you wanna know how she doing, yeah, she's straight. But she had one question: when we gon' get up? All that talking tough, yeah, we don't walk it tough. She got it locked and loaded, got that piece up on her side. She looked me in my eyes and said, "Meet you ready to ride?" Moving forward, you gotta use both eyes. Watch your front and watch your back. Keep your hands up on your gas. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. He sit at the table, but he don't order no bacon. He greet me in those words, assalamu alaikum. Got them glasses on his face and them waves in his head. He go by the name of Detroit Red. He looks me in my eye and says, "You only get one try. Know that your biggest opposition will come from the inside. I know you wanna love them all, but don't even try, because they'll smile up in your face while plotting your demise." Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. We are the children of the ancestors that weren't